Hi, my name is Elias, and I'm talking about the movie The Imitation Game. The Imitation Game tells the story of Alan Turing and his team cracking the Nazi Enigma code during World War II, of course. But when they succeed, they're faced with a terrible decision. If they act immediately and stop all planned attacks, the Nazi will realize the Enigma has been broken. So instead, they choose to let some attacks, of course, happen. Some people die, so that others might live. This raises a deep philosophical question. I think that is it morally acceptable to lie or let others suffer for a greater good? Of course, Immanuel Kant will say absolutely not. Why? For Kant, morality is based on duty and universal rules, of course, not no outcomes. His categorically imperative states that we should act according to maximum we would want as universal laws. And more importantly, we must treat people as ends in themselves, never merely as means. By choosing who lives and who dies based on a strategy situation or calculation, Turing teams is instrumentally human beings. They treat lives as numbers, not individuals with intrinsic value. Kant's perspective, of course, no matter the result, even if millions are saved, lying and allowing innocent death cannot be justified, of course. It's violate human dignity and the moral law. But the other way, Aristotle offers a different view. Of course, he believes morality comes from finding the virtuous mean between extremes, guided by phronesis or practical wisdom. According to Aristotle, there are no universal rules for every situation. Instead, the virtuous person judges what's best given from circumstance. In this case, totally honestly or immediate inaction might lead to losing the war, but doing nothing is also not virtuous. Turing's decision, while painful, could be seen as fact prudence. He animated at a greater good, though careful and painful choices, of course. Virtue for Aristotle lies not in perfection, but in wise balance. Turing wasn't cold or cruel. I don't think so. What do you think? He carried the burden, of course, of every decision and act with moral seriousness. Personally, in my opinion, in my feeling, of course, I believe that Turing actions, while tragic, were more justified. But in a world where every option involves harm, of course, choosing the path that prevents the most suffering is not just reasonable. It's responsibility, of course, is responsible. Kant's principles are admirable in theory, but they can fall short in real world crises. Moral absolutism offers clarity, but not all the justice that we need, of course, or that the people and the worldwide of in this case Turing wants. We need to sacrifice things to have a better result or means of have a less damage, I think. Well, in the other case, Aristotle ethics grounded in character and judgment, of course, acknowledge the complexity of human life, and a life during warm time is nothing if not complex. Well, Turing choice demand enormous courage, not just intelligence. He chose to bear the weight of silence of guilt for the sake of millions of people. That to me is not immoral. It's heroism and it is most difficult form. Finally, or ultimately, the imitation game is not just a story of codes and machines. It's a story about the cost, sorry, of course doing what's right, of course, when right and wrong are possible to separate. It asks us to reflect, is it more ethical to follow the rules or break them to save lives? Can we live with the consequence either way? Sometimes doing what is right doesn't feel just, and what will feels just not, yeah, just may not always be right. This is my philosophy. I think that is the correct situation. We need to have a decision that we can feel better, but in my opinion, that decision is the best decision for me. Turing, I don't know. What would you do? I think, I don't know, that was the correct decision. What do you think?